Show up because it is necessary to show up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Serious Hangout, where meaningful conversations meet faith inspired insights. Join us as we explore life's biggest questions, share personal stories, and dive right into topics that matter the most. From faith to purpose, relationships to personal growth, this is your safe space to explore, reflect, and grow together. Please subscribe, comment, and like. See you on the other side.
Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode on the Serious Hangout. I'm so happy to have you here. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. Guys, we've reached 80. I know it is a lot. Like, I celebrate the small wins. So when I hit 80, I was like, yay, God, look at this. So thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. And if you're just a listener passing by, came across the content, please do like, subscribe, and comment. Just subscribe and like. If you can't comment, just subscribe and like. That is more than enough. It helps me. Obviously, by you subscribing, I'm able to reach more people, which means more people can benefit from the content that I create. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Let's dive right into it. Today's episode won't be a lengthy one. Um, yeah, and I have a story to tell you guys, and I have practical steps or feedback to give you guys at the end of this episode. So please stay tuned till the end, because girl or boy will be missing out if you don't listen till the end. So yeah, let's go. So today's episode is on, or the title is, how do you show up even when you don't feel like it? Yeah. How do you show up even when you don't feel like it? Because more often than not, we want to show up when we feel like it. I don't feel like going, I'm not gonna go. But how do you show up when you don't feel like it? Because by you not showing up, someone else, you are actually depriving someone of your brilliance, of your advice, of your presence, of that networking opportunity, by you deciding, you know what, I don't want. Uh-uh. Obviously, there are exceptions to this. Let's not go into it, but I am speaking about surface level, not just showing up just because you don't feel like it. You just don't feel like it. So let me share a quick story with you guys. So if you are a follower, you would know that I'm doing my PhD, right? And I started my PhD this year. So it's been a couple of months. I know it's 6 months, but it's been a hell of a ride. If I'm being honest, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been adjusting to the new way of thinking, the new way of doing things. It's been a roller coaster. Sometimes I feel like, yay, I got it, and sometimes I just feel like, what am I even doing? Am I even worthy of, you know, getting this opportunity? Am I worthy of doing what I do? Do I know what I'm doing? Especially when your masters, you did so exceptional that you felt like, okay, I'm amongst the people, I'm amongst the people that do the things. But now you feel like, I don't know anything. What I thought I knew is like 1% of what is out there. Yeah. It's been a transformative journey, I would say. It's really opened my mind, the way I think, the way I look at things, the way I engage with people. It's been different. And it has really pushed me beyond points that I didn't think I would be able to go. Like, it's been a remarkable journey. Let me say that. Every journey comes with its trials, and it's been amazing. I know I'm saying this without a smile, but it's been amazing. Let me not lie. I've made good friends. I've made a wonderful friend. You'll see her on my socials soon. She's lovely. She's from Azerbaijan. When I look at her, I'm just like, wow, God, you've given me, like, she's an angel. She's beautiful, beautiful personality. we're carrying each other through this journey. Basically, I've met another friend as well, a lovely guy. His name is I can't disclose his name. I'm not quite sure if you would want me to disclose his name, but he's from Lesotho. We're both from the south, so that's where we just click and we understand each other. And yeah, but in anyway, I've met lovely people. Apart from the two that I've just mentioned, I've met lovely people on the PhD journey, and we've really tried to make it as fun and as enjoyable as we can, because sometimes it can really get to you. But why am I sharing this story with you? Because, like I said, the topic is, how do you show up when you don't feel like showing up? I've gone from being employed to being a PhD student. That was a big shift in my life. And now you're trying to find your feet, right? You're trying to see where you fit. Do I understand this? Um, I'm part of the 1%, but how do I make this journey fun for myself? And you're trying to do so much networking, seminars, conferences. There's a lot going on. And as of recent, I haven't really been showing up the way I would want to show up, because there's just so much. And sometimes I just felt like I need to take a step back. But then I need to ask myself that, it's taking the step back and allowing myself to just sit down and be like, oh no, let me just not do anything. Is it really what God wants me to do, or am I being, is it the fear? Or, you must have some sort of determination to be successful. You can't just be the average person that when life gets hard, when you have five things to do, you're like, oh my goodness, it's too much to do. You should be able to push through. You should have sleepless nights. The most famous and most, prominent CEOs and so forth, they say, like, I've grinded the days I was sleeping in my car, I was sleeping at the office. It's not because they wanted to, but it's because they had to. At a certain time, you need to sacrifice everything else and really focus on what you're doing, and really show up even when you don't want to show up, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel like, I would rather go home and sleep in my bed. Even when you feel like 8 hours is healthy to sleep. Yes, it is. But sometimes it calls, sometimes life calls you to sleep 2 hours, and that's it. I remember when I was in Ethiopia for a seminar, I was doing assignments after I got back from the seminar, and I was doing assignments and I was doing some work and whatever. And I slept at what? I sleep at 3 a.m. I'm awake by 5, because by 6 I'm out of the hotel and whatever. And it went on for 3 4 days. But I knew why I was doing what I'm doing, because I had to still show up the next day, the same seminar, and still be productive. It wouldn't kill me if I do that for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. But obviously, you can't live your entire life on that, because then it's unhealthy. But I mean, like, when you need to grind, you need to grind. So I gave you a backstory of where I'm coming from with this, but also because recently, last week, I had to release an episode, and I was just so tired. I was in London last week, and I was traveling. I had to visit some friends, but not even visit, because I got to a place at 11 p.m. after a seminar that took an entire day, and the next day I had to go for a wedding. And it's, like I say, it has been busy. There was just no time to record or to release a recording, and I felt so bad. I told myself, why is it that I didn't show up, even when I didn't feel like it. Even the previous week, I could have recorded, I could have batch recorded. But because of that thing of, I'll do it later, there's still much time, that is why I didn't show up. I didn't feel like it 2 weeks ago to record, but I knew that in 2 weeks' time, I'll be so busy, that week will be so packed. Yet I failed myself, and I failed someone on the other side of the screen by not showing up. So it is important to remember that whatever you do, you need to do it diligently. Life will come with its obstacles, but you need to be prepared to take it on. You need to be prepared. Look at your schedule and see that, oh, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be so busy. Let me do what I need to do today, whether it's sending out a birthday email, and putting a timer on, not a timer, but scheduling the email, whether it is sending out emails to your boss or whatever you need, or report that you need to do, that you know in 2 weeks time I have so many personal things that's going to go on, and I know this report is due. Why don't you create it now already and just schedule it? Why is it that we always wait till the last minute and say, oh my goodness, I didn't have time? Yes, I'm asking you. So I think we need to really create a culture where we stop making excuses and we make time for what is really important. I do this podcast not because I want to do it. I do it because I truly and sincerely believe that it is my calling from God. I truly and sincerely believe that, but through this podcast I'm able to help people, grow closer to God, and really see God's work through my life. So when I do this podcast, it's not to gain some following for myself, but it's to ask you to show up better, because God is calling you to show up better. God is telling you to say that I have given you this talent, but you keep making excuses. I've put you in this position to do ABCD, but you keep coming up with reasons why you can't do it. No, I have a child, marriage, I have a husband I need to feed, but you can take time. Some people have kids and they have husbands, but they still study, they still do assignments, they still do other courses. So, what is so different between them and you? The difference is that they know that they have to, they don't have a choice. Some people work 3 jobs, for goodness sake. You come from one job and you're tired and you're saying, oh my goodness, I can't anymore. You can. And I'm really not trying to like downplay anybody's situation, but I'm just trying to say that show up even when you don't feel like it, because you might inspire someone else. I was listening to a Facebook clip today from Vusi Tembekwayo where a guy said he's a self-made millionaire just because Vusi went to speak at a school where he was a student then. So I don't know how many years ago, but he was a student then and Vusi went to speak to the kids. Imagine had Vusi just said, "Oh my goodness, I don't have time," or "I'm just not feeling too well today. I just don't have the list. Like I just don't want to do it. Like I don't want to do it. Like I'm just not in the mood to do it." That child wouldn't have been inspired. And the most beautiful thing is that he said that just because you spoke to me or you spoke to a whole crowd, entire school that day, Vusi, I made the decision that day to say that I want to be the best version of myself, just like that man. I want to speak well. I want to enter rooms, and when I leave, people should feel the way that man made me feel. And that is exactly what that guy is doing now. He's a self made millionaire. He speaks to schools, he's a public speaker, and I'm not quite sure what he does, but he says like I now speak to kids, and my one goal is just that when I walk out of the room they're inspired to do better and to live better by showing up. That just shows us that people have to continue showing up for others. People have to continue being the voice for others. People have to continue fighting and advocating for others, even when you feel like, oh my goodness, it's not benefiting me, it's not it's not benefiting me in any way. If you look at this channel, it's not like I'm getting paid for it, it's not like I'm getting any deals for it, but I'm showing up time and again because I know through my work, regardless of the following, I'm able to inspire one person, and that is more than enough. So ask yourself, why are you not showing up the way you're supposed to do? You have this beautiful talent. You can maybe speak. Why is it that you're not speaking to people? I'm not just saying speak in the sense of motivational speaking. Maybe you're able to advocate for human rights. Maybe you're able to advocate for something else. Why is it that you're not speaking up? Maybe you have a beautiful voice. Why are you not blessing us with that voice? Maybe a good writer, write poems, write books so that we can just read and get lost in it. It can help someone with depression. I know books help me so much because when I get into a book or when you read a book, you just forget everything around you. So many people have testified how books and songs really just take them out of dark places. So why are you not using the talent that you have, a God-given talent, to inspire someone else? That challenge is for me and you. Why are we not showing up the way we're supposed to show up? Why are you not jogging every day when you know that maybe um, you have some sort of sickness, or you have to be healthy? Because when your body is healthy, your mind just is healthy as well. Why are you not showing up for yourself? You don't even have to show up for other people. Why are you saying that I'm going on this diet, but you can't even commit to 60 days of a diet? I'm speaking to myself here as well. I'm speaking to myself here as well because I started a 60-day challenge, and I called it Show Up for God. And I showed up for a good 30 days. And last week I failed, and I said I could have avoided failing showing up for God. I'm not saying I'm going to start over, because that is life. You have to keep yourself accountable. You have to sit down with yourself and say, you know what, Joyce, here you failed yourself. Here you failed God. Here you failed speaking to someone or speaking life into someone else. You failed. I'm not saying go back, but know what you did wrong, and now you move on. Now I know. I look at my schedule and I say, oh, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be so busy. Let me schedule content. Let me schedule what I'm going to do. I had a meeting with a sister, or I had to go for lunch, but I know I'm not going to be very present in that meeting because I'll have so much going on. Let me shift it out, of shift it in. It all takes really intentionality to do things with a pure heart, and to do things because you really want to help yourself and you want to help someone else. So by showing up, you're able to show up for yourself, regardless of whatever area you're in, whether it's professionally. Maybe you need to get a degree because you know by doing that degree, you're able to get a promotion. And you're not showing up because you feel like, oh my goodness, I would rather buy a MacBook instead of paying for tuition. Show up, not because you want to show up, but because by not showing up, you're depriving someone from what you're offering. Show up because by showing up, you're able to inspire others. Show up because when you show up yourself, you learn. There's just this thing about showing up, you feel proud. It's emotional appreciation, I think. I'm not quite sure if it's called that, but by showing up, you just feel like, okay, I showed up this way, and I will keep showing up. And it gives you that confidence. It gives you that boost of, yeah. You know, when you go to the gym, the first day you're like, I can't even do 5 kilo. I can't even do 5 kilograms, you know. But then when you consistently go and you reach 10, you're like, yeah, so we have arrived. We have arrived. Yeah? And then you go, and then you start feeling, or you start seeing the results from your consistency. You start looking well, your legs are shaped well, your arms look beautiful, you feel good. So by doing that, you can see the results you have. So imagine if you consistently show up, and you can see that from inspiring one person, you start inspiring two, you start inspiring three, you start inspiring four, and tomorrow you have a room full of people that you inspire. And my thing is always, with anything I do, is that what I give to you, I don't want money from it. But if I'm not charging you, you have to give it on. So it needs to be like a tree. It needs to branch out, and your leaf or your stem should branch, and then those people should branch. And that's the same thing I say to my mentees, that when I mentor someone for something and I'm not charging them, I say that I do not want your money, but what I'm giving you, the wealth of knowledge, because I'm knowledgeable. It's my time. It's what I know. I'm giving it to you, right? So now you have it. Now you have that bank of knowledge, right? You give it to someone else, and make an agreement with the next person to say you must give it on. And that's something we must learn, That when I'm given, because I was given freely, right? So now I have to give on, and you have to give, and you have to give, and so it branches, and we are helping. By tomorrow, we can inspire an entire community. So, guys, like I said, it's gonna be short. It's gonna be spicy. Show up even when you don't feel like it. Show up because by showing up, you're not just letting yourself down, but you're letting someone else down. Show up because by not showing up, you're depriving someone from your excellence, your skills, anything that you can offer. Show up because by showing up, you're inspiring the next generation, even the older generation. You're inspiring someone to do right, to move in a different direction, to pivot something, a career, to know what challenges to dodge. Show up because it is necessary to show up. Also, remember that by showing up, you're closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You know, you are now benching, I don't know, 10 kilograms, but you want to bench 50. By showing up consistently, you will reach that goal. So remember, you are now in high school and you want to have a master's. By showing up, going to classes, studying, doing whatever you need to do in order to reach that goal, you are bridging that gap. So keep on showing up, keep on inspiring people. And as the Bible says, a righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from all. So even though the road is hard, even though the road may get bumpy, even though the way may feel too far, you don't know what is going on. But as long as you trust and believe in God, you will make it. You will sincerely make it. And I know from experience, I know from trusting God wholeheartedly that if you trust in Him and you keep showing up, He will make a way. Another verse in the Bible that says, speaks on the Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my Savior. My God is my rock, in whom I find protection. So also remember, as you navigate this different showing up, because showing up can mean different things, right? It's not just about talking on a podcast. Maybe it's really going out in the field and doing things. That God will protect you. God will go before you. He will send. He will surely protect you, because He is your fortress. So when you're scared, when you're stressed, when you feel like, oh my God, there's just a million things. How do I show up? Find comfort in God, because God is your fortress. He will make a way where He gave you the idea. If the idea sincerely comes from God, He will make a way. That's one thing you should trust. That if God told you that have a podcast, do this. You know, like I only have a phone, start with that phone. Show up. Because God will make a way for you to get a camera, for you to get a mic, for you to get the studio room. As long as you keep showing up and you're faithful in whatever you're doing, God will make a way. So my last analogy is that, you know, when you leave clothes in the laundry, right, in the washing machine, and sometimes we forget to take it out and you leave it in for long, and then maybe after a day or two you go open, it has a smell to it, and then you have to rewash it again. That's the same thing with showing up. The longer you say, I don't have time, I don't have the list, I really just can't make time. When you make all these excuses for not showing up, the longer you leave, it's the same thing as laundry. The longer you leave it there, the more it starts smelling, which means the further you go away from showing up. It's the same thing like if you haven't spoken in front of people for a while, now you have to rebuild that confidence. But if you consistently show up, maybe leg of one or two events, but go on, you keep on showing up, you build the muscles and you build the stamina to stand in front of people. Now where you were taking you're meditating for 30 minutes, you just meditate for 5 minutes and you know that, okay, God, you have put me in this place and I'm able to show up. I trust that you can make it. And then you go. But now you meditate for an hour and you'll still be anxious when you go into on the stage because you have not showed up. So it's the same thing as laundry. You have to show up. You have to take it out on time, right? So show up on time. Uh-huh. And even when you do forget to show up, which means when you do forget your laundry in the basket or in the washing machine, when you don't show up, don't have it in the washing machine for too long because it's gonna stink. So don't keep your talent from us because it will take too much to sharpen it up. Rather, wash it over, which means then refresh yourself. Spice it up, sharpen your skills, and show up again. You know, that's what you need to do. Realign and refocus and show up because God wants you to show up. Show up not just because you need to show up, but because you owe it to God to show up. You owe your talents to the world because God has given them to you. Show up because God will make a way where He has given you a dream or a vision or an idea to do something. Start that business. Even when you don't feel like it, start it because you owe it to God to show that, okay, God, you know what? I trust and believe that you have put me in this position and I will use the skills that I have, the talent that I have to show up, and I'll consistently do so, trusting and believing that you will make a way for me. What I've done, so this is the practical part of showing up. What I've done is remember that your day starts in the evening. So your night routine or your morning routine starts in the evening. So the time you go to bed will influence the time you wake up, right? If you are someone that really needs 8 hours of sleep, it means go back to bed earlier. So look at the time you go to bed in order to, because it will influence the time you wake up. Um, Read your Bible and journal. Yeah, journaling helps. If you look back at an something that you have written a month ago, you'll be like, wow, I've grown. Journaling is like a roadmap. It shows you where you have been and where you are today, and tomorrow you'll be writing about the past. So it will show you again where you have been yesterday. 2 months ago, you were crying that, oh my goodness, I didn't have $5. But now you're crying because, oh my God, I don't have $100. Because $5 is not a concern because you have that now. It shows you where you have been, like I said, journaling. And read the Bible because the Bible is a roadmap to what you have to do, how you have to live. Then physical exercise, guys. I've spoken about physical exercise. I've actually given so many analogies in this podcast episode on physical exercise and the importance of it, because when you feel good physically, you perform better. When you jog or you take that walk, you just feel like, yes, I'm ready for the week. Health is wealth. Let me just conclude there. You know what I mean. Health is wealth. Health in the sense of what you put in your body and what you do with your body. Remember that. So those are the few things. So which is wake up early or wake up at the time that you think works best for you. But remember, your morning routine starts in the evening. Read the Bible and journal and do some physical exercise. Those are the three short. Obviously, I can drop a list of 20 things, but I think to start, that is a good start to do. But also, I have a challenge for you for this week. I told you guys I have a few nuggets at the end. So, my challenge for you this week is take an honest look into your life, identify the areas where you have become complacent, you know, and you have settled for something apart from what God has designed you to be. Identify that thing and really see what is it that's making me complacent. Am I just comfortable or what is it? And then write it down. Write down a vision for what more looks like for you. Be specific and bold with your goals. What is more? What is it you want to do? Do you want to release 4 episodes a week? Do you want to jog twice a day? What is it that how does more look to? How does more look for you? Write it down. Take one action a week towards your vision. Enroll in that course, reach out to that mentor, or start that project that you have been pushing down. Take one action this week. Just one. Because that one action will draw you closer to whatever you want to do. So if you want to speak to someone, oh my goodness, if you like, if you go in my DMs, I have no shame. I DM people, I get cold emails, it's okay. But I know one day one person will reply and I'll be like, you know. So email that person that you want to collaborate with, email your mentor or reach out to a mentor that you want to have. Start that cause, or that business venture. Go register your company, or not even register because that's the last thing. Maybe start with a concept, see how you want to do it, look at the market players, what is it that you want to do, and really do your research. And with that, my lovely people, remember, fall forward and not backwards. Remember that you're perfectly able. Continue to show up even when you don't feel like it. Until next time, ciao.